Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started here in just about a minute or so. We'll give it a minute for people to join us, but today is Thursday, November 18th. Hope you are all well today. And we're going to get started in just a minute or so. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. Today is Thursday, November 18th. I see we have some people joining us, so welcome. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. Just give it another few seconds for people to join us here before we get started with today's update video. All right, so going to jump into the live stream today. So welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. Like I said, it's Rod with Power Group. Today is Thursday, November 18th, and we're going to do an MJ sector review, and we'll just do an overall health check. I know it was a pretty wild day in the market today, and seems to never be a dull moment with MJ lately. And there was some news pieces today that sparked a lot of concerns, rightly so. But we're going to talk about those here in just a second. But before we jump in, make sure to smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I do have an appointment to run to here, so I'm going to try to keep this a little shorter here today. So I won't be answering as many questions, and I'm going to save any ticker requests for another live stream. So we'll just get through, but I do want to save today's questions and answering for just if you have anything with regards to the concerns that came up today. If there's anything you want to talk about with regards to the fundamentals, I'm happy to do that, but just going to save the technical analysis and ticker requests for another video. But just want to jump into this news piece here from Barclays. So they initiate coverage of Tilray, Cronos, and Canopy Growth. So this news came out today. And in my opinion, why we saw Tilray down, I think it was about 12 or 13% there at one point. But you can see here in the article that there were some price downgrades, right? So we had some coverage here, and they only mentioned Tilray, Cronos, and CGC. So Tilray was leading the decline today, and the whole industry right now is just getting slammed, right? Like the gap up that we had on Monday to FOMO retail in was just absolutely ruthless by the market makers. And the market makers want your cheap shares. So I wanted to do this video straight out, shouting out to the retail investors. This video is for you because, like I said, if you're mad at today's a day where you're probably pretty angry or frustrated at the sector. And I want to start with this by saying that if you are frustrated at MJ stocks, don't be, because if you should be frustrated at anybody, it's the market makers and these Wall Street banks and these big banks like the JP Morgans and the Morgan Stanleys and the Goldman Sachs of the world and the Bank of Americas, because this is who we're up against, right? So just know that if you're feeling emotional today or angry, any of those of the sorts, right? Those are all emotions, and that's exactly what the stock market is designed to make you feel. And that's exactly what they're doing here is they got the news from the bill. They got everybody hyped. I remember seeing comments. It's just crazy how quickly sentiment can shift, right? I remember seeing comments from people on my YouTube channel saying, buy now, the US is going to legalize. It's right around the corner. You know, you don't have much time. And everybody and their dog was bearish. And then all of a sudden it's buy now, the US is legalizing. And then I did an update on Friday. I did a live stream, I think it was, and I said on Monday I could expect a gap up. They run it into the open. They get people, the people that said, oh, this wasn't going to happen. This was just another pump and dump. And then at the end of Friday, we changed the daily trend on MSOS and a lot of these names. And people were like, oh, okay, well, I was thinking we were just going to drop to a new lower low, but I'll buy the next dip. And then what happens is on Monday, we saw that gap up, and then they ran it into the open. And they just made those retail investors FOMO in. And that's what it is. You should be angry at those market makers for just, and these news articles and the press, right, that releases that news and gets retail all hyped, right? And we see a daily trend change. And then into Monday, like I said, we had that, that huge reversal candle with the blow off top and closing near the low of the day. And then 3 days of consolidation We actually lost the daily uptrend today on MSOS. So again, this is just how ruthless this game is. They get you to FOMO in here at the absolute top, and that's exactly what I said in my video from Friday, unfortunately, was that they're probably going to gap it up. They're going to run it into the open, and then people are going to get FOMO. They're going to get fear of missing out. And they said, oh, I could have bought it down here at 28, and then they end up buying it at 33 or 34, and then they FOMO in, and then that dip that they said they were going to wait for comes, and then they end up selling the bottom again, right? So today, look where we closed. We closed the day here we're sitting at 29.03. So we had key support here at 29.38, which was the daily high or low. And if we lost that, we lost the daily uptrend. But look what happened today. We lost the daily uptrend, but we closed well back above that support. So in my opinion, I think that was just the market makers completely, taking advantage of retail's emotions, getting them to FOMO in. They buy the temporary top. That's exactly what I said in my video from Friday. And then, a couple of days later, midweek, the markets aren't for them, or, weed stocks aren't for them, right? And that's exactly what we saw. Was just, I said, the uptrends were great on the daily, but we still needed to change weekly trends, right? So now we're consolidating on the weekly, right? That's what when you heard me say, well, what does he mean by we need to change weekly trends? Well, I said the bulls still had a lot of work to do, so we needed to be cautious. Also, EMA 26 has been rejecting the price ever since we lost it. We were testing EMA 26, and we failed to close a week above it. And then, like I said here, this week we poked above it, and then we came back down. Here we are forming a weekly higher low. So if we form a weekly higher low compared to 25.70, or if we just go straight into a higher high tomorrow or the next day, then we confirm a weekly uptrend here with a low high. And generally don't want to see it on the same candle, but if you wanted to say that was a weekly uptrend confirming, I wouldn't argue with you, but that's what we want to see. But at this point, like I said, it's just an absolute travesty that the retail investor just continues to get slammed. And I know it's not easy. If you're still checking into MJ videos and update videos today, then I would say kudos to you, because not a lot of people would survive a day like today. Like I said, it's sad to see that retail investors continue to get punished, and like I said, everybody and their dog was bullish on those YouTube comments here after we had that daily trend change into the end of last week. And now it's just crickets. People are back into fear mode. And like I said, we see these downgrades right after the bill comes out, and then we get downgrades to really flush it down. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, we end up closing above some key support levels there on MSOS. HMMJ, so Canadian MJ, is a little bit weaker. So we lost our daily support level here at 783. So nice strong close there for the bulls on MSOS into the end of the day. So if you're wondering who is stronger at the moment, US MJ definitely has the upper hand versus the neighbors to the north here in Canada. You can see HMMJ did not close back above its daily support. We did have a level here at 744, which held. And like I said, a little bit weaker. I could see us just bouncing in between this range tomorrow, somewhere around that 744 to 782. And then we'll see if we can get a break either to the upside, or we either lose support and we continue back down to 731 area. But like I said, if we tighten up, that's what I could see into tomorrow. If you're wondering what we could see on Canadian MJ, I think we could just tighten up into the next couple of days. But like I said, MSOS standing out and US MJ standing out as the stronger of the two. But one thing I wanted to notice here, that Tilray and Cron and CGC, which are the top tier one companies in my opinion, along with Aurora and Hexo. Notable that they didn't mention Aurora and Hexo here in this article, but Tilray downgraded to $10. I actually took a position in Tilray today, so there's some great sales on in the market right now. I think Oxley's another good one right now. It's on support. So wick down there today would be a nice entry opportunity here. We just hit the high of 35 cents. And like I said, nice low risk opportunity here off of that bottom fish support of that support trend line. And you could set your stop loss below 20 cents. Again, not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only, but that's a play that I was looking at. Looks pretty good. And then, like I said, Tilray, another name that I'm probably my top two LPs would be Tilray and Hexo. But right now I'm most bullish on Hexo, and then second would be Tilray. Tilray actually came down and tested the support trend line here as well, but we did lose our daily support at 1140. That was the signal to jump out, and if you exited when we lost 1140, would have saved you. Just get the tool out here. Would have saved you roughly, not sure why that's not working for me. There we go. Save you roughly about 6%, and you could look to reload cheaper. I actually loaded up around 1075 today. And then, like I said, I was watching this support trend line, and we had that 1071, and then we actually had a double bottom there at 1071. I filled it about 1075, and then off of that support, we jumped about 2.5%. So, like I said, still lots of work to do. Canadian MJ definitely standing out a little bit weaker. And there was also some FUD today with regards to Hexo. So I'm not sure if people were following that or not. Personally, I didn't even really read the full article. It was an article on one of the main pages of a Quebec journal in Montreal. And I'm not even going to bring it up because, like I said, I think at this point it's just FUD. And we've seen this before with Afrio when they came out with that short report. We've seen this time and time again where they just try to play retail and they want your cheap shares. So this type of stuff comes out right as we're getting people to FOMO in and prospects of US legalization are looking up. And then, like I said, we see that gap up on Monday and then we trap retail, we get them to FOMO in, and then we kick them when they're down, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a green day tomorrow across the sector. Let me know in the comments, do you think we're going to see a green day tomorrow or a red day? Do you think we need to come back down and hit some more oversold? We were pretty low today in some of the time frames here on the oversold indicators. We were hourly oversold here on MSOS. I want to bring up Tilray here real quick. So Tilray on, look at that, 5-minute RSI was down in the 8s. And if we look at Hexo is super low. I think it was down at 275. So on the 5-minute chart, but a lot of names hourly oversold. And it was an hourly bear flag there on Hexo as well. And it looks like we're down here slightly after hours, but we have key support coming up an all-time low at 127. Like I said, I still have buy orders in for 125. I have a buy order in for $1 USD, and I did add some Tilray today. Like I said, off of that support, and we had a nice little wick there at the low of the candle, so suggesting a little bit of buying there at that support. So we'll see if we can hold that into tomorrow, and more than likely going to be a daily inside bar with the size of the range today. But like I said, could see a tightening range on our Canadian names into the next couple of days, just by looking at HMMJ, how we didn't close back above that support. We closed more toward the low of the day, and we're basically stuck in between those two supports. So I could see us just tightening up into the next couple of days, and US MJ leading the charge here. But expecting a potential green day tomorrow, and likelihood for an inside bar is very, very high at this point. So likely just a tightening range, but I think overall we could see a green day tomorrow, and then maybe even the day after that. But at this point, like I said, bulls still needed to change weekly trends. So I said, don't be surprised if we pull back from here. The daily is great, but we needed to confirm weekly trend changes. So now here we are confirming weekly consolidation, losing the daily uptrend, looking for a weekly higher low. And it's entirely possible that we just go sideways into the end of the week here. There's only one trading day left tomorrow. And then we could start the next week off maybe with a bit more weekly consolidation as long as we form a higher low compared to the low here at 25.70. And then resume higher. If we were to break 33.80, that recent high, that would confirm a weekly uptrend. So that's what we want to see. We want to come down, form this higher low, higher high, change the weekly trend. And again, if you're in the market rate today, right, we've seen the dollars consolidating, so that's good for asset bulls. But I just want to highlight again how frustrating it must be for a lot of people. If you're only investing in Hexo or Tilray or MSOS or MJ stocks, today was a very frustrating day for you. So what I encourage you to do is diversify, right? Especially when MJ has been in an absolute brutal bear market since February. And that's why when crypto is on the biggest run of its life, like I said, I don't foresee MJ really sparking a new bull run until the crypto and the tech boom is over. So until we see major mega tech stocks like Amazon was up today. Baba had terrible earnings, so I think a lot of those earnings went from Alibaba into Amazon. But we saw tech, we had an algo alert, and Powbot algo alert went off saying Amazon had some bullish evidence on the medium to long term. And then there you go. We saw some strength in the market in Amazon today and pretty much held SPY up today. So tech, you can thank tech for that. But like I said, SPY holding daily EMA 12, no major red flags here at all. We had a green day today. If we were to lose EMA 12 there, that would be notable at 465.91, but we're less than 0.2% of away of an all-time high, right? Of a new all-time high. So broader market is just fine. And like I said, crypto is consolidating today on the weekly time frame. So we knew that was likely going to be the case. We saw Ethereum. I just want to highlight this here. This is a prime example of why we should have expected some consolidation. So again, I know this is an MJ video, but I just want to reiterate that we're likely not going to see MJ run until this crypto bull run is over and the tech boom is over. As soon as we see those two enter a bear market, that's when I think MJ is going to see some real gains, and they're going to hold, not just pump, but they're actually going to hold it and then see new price discovery. We're going to see a lot of the names, not just one or two names like Afria and Tilray and Trulieve breaking new highs. We're going to see the whole sector, both US, both Canadian, all names are going to be at all-time highs, and that's likely going to be because of a catalyst of either US legalization, safe banking, and uplisting to US major exchanges. So like I said, today in crypto, we had today was a pretty interesting day in the market today. Crypto was pulling back. We approached the 3.618 extension Fibonacci level on Ethereum, which is also $5,000 psychological, and we hadn't consolidated in 2 months. So we had 8 weeks in a row of a higher low with no weekly consolidation. We also had this uptrend line here, this green line that broke. So as soon as we lost the low of the previous weekly candle there at 440.60, 4,460, that was the signal to bail, right? If you would have exited just when we started weekly consolidation, that would have saved yourself 11% of downside. But this is healthy. We should expect this when we're going on 8 weeks without any weekly consolidation, meaning we just haven't broken the low of the previous week. And then we see that this uptrend line breaks. We see that we're approaching the 3.618 extension. We know that $5,000 is a nice round psychological number. And once we started pulling back from there and had that doji of a candle, that was a little bit of a heads up. And then, like I said, from there, you shouldn't be surprised with a 15 to 10% pullback. Right here we are down almost 20%, but we're still in a weekly uptrend, just looking for a weekly higher low, and we haven't even tested EMA 12 there at 38.71. So I could see a pullback to about 3,800, 3,500 on Ethereum, and it would still be absolutely healthy. But I mention this because I still think that crypto is very much in a bull market. I think that Bitcoin is just forming a weekly higher low and some support here that we need to see, and still holding EMA 12 here on the weekly time frame as well. I think we're going to see a huge move in crypto in the next couple of months, and then we will see a bear market likely at the beginning of 2022 for crypto and tech stocks and the overall, broader market, the S&P 500, and then we'll see MJ start to really shine in 2022. That's what I believe. We saw Chuck Schumer also release some information today about a bill. He thinks that there's a very good chance of it passing by April, I think, next year. There's also the Curaleaf CEO was on BNN, and he said that he believes that U.S. legalization is on track to be passed by April of next year of 2022. So that would line up perfectly with that timeline, right? With crypto ending and the broader market ending its bull cycle. So like I said, we want to see crypto top out, but a little bit of an odd day in the market today. Bitcoin was pulling back, crypto market was pulling back. We had an MJ pulling back, and then we had tech stocks just stealing the show. And SPY, like I said, very, very close to an all-time high there at 470.65, and no major red flags here whatsoever. So going to end it there. Like I said, going to keep this video a little shorter today. I do have an appointment to run to, but I do want to say that just kudos to anybody here that's still tracking this. If you're still, alive in MJ land, you're probably going to be a successful investor, in my opinion, because if you're able to weather the storm like today and handle these types of emotional roller coasters, it's not easy, right? And this isn't the first time they've done that. And that's why I said in my video from Friday that I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Daily uptrends are great, but we still hadn't changed the weekly uptrend. We hadn't changed that weekly trend. And then we saw a pretty big move, right, off the lows. So off the lows here on HMMJ, we saw 20%. And if we take a look at MSOS on the daily time frame, I think we were up about 25% off the low, actually 32%. So that's a pretty big bounce, right? We had the low, high, higher, low. We got the FOMO going. People started, getting bullish again. And then right when you think the tides are turning, they FOMO you in, they reverse it on you, and then 3 brutal days of pullback. And like I said, they end up getting people to buy the temporary top. And then there was probably a lot of people today that sold the temporary bottom. So again, kudos to you if you're still sticking around. Like I said, whilst if you're going to be mad at anybody, you don't need to be mad at MJ because it's not MJ's fault. MJ isn't going anywhere. The commodity didn't do anything to your life. They could care less about the numbers on this screen. It's the market makers. There was actually an article out the other day that Morgan Stanley is increasing its position in Hexo by 1,404%. So 14x. So again, we don't know how many shares of those were short, but I think we can read between the lines here that they're probably not loading up on short shares on MJ at 52-week lows and all-time lows. And if we look at the weekly charts, the MACD is curling bullish, right? And if not just on one name. We look at HMMJ, MACD is crossing bullish. MSOS, MACD is crossing bullish as well. If we look at YOLO, same deal. So it's a screaming buy right now on all of these ETFs. And same with MJ. We had the MACD crossing bullish. So the MACD doesn't usually cross bullish when the whales and the financial institutions and the big Wall Street banks are lining up and adding to their long positions. Usually we see a bear cross when they're shorting and they're unloading, right? That's what happened back here. So all of those Wall Street banks back in February were unloading back there. They were unloading on retail when everybody said, we're going to the moon, and they unloaded, and then we had the MACD bear cross. Now it's really not that difficult, right? As soon as we see a bull cross on the MACD, this is a very simple indicator that you can use that will tell you when big institutions and big money is buying. And that we're seeing that in all charts right now. So that's why I think is they just want your cheap shares. They're just messing with retail. They lost the daily uptrend today. They probably, like I said, got people to sell the bottom again after just buying the top. And just another pump and dump, right? And then here we are with a huge lower wick and closing back above that support. You could even still say we're still in a daily uptrend and just ignore that lower wick, right? So I think today the markets were manipulated heavily. And like I said, there was some FUD about Hexo today. I didn't even really pay much attention to it. Just looking at the chart, right? Hexo was down, I think, 2%. And then Tilray was down 3% in the pre-market. And then we looked, and then Tilray was down like 12% on some dilution or some downgrade news and target of $10. And then today we hit a low of $10.70, right? So we pretty much hit that target of $10 already. And like I said, Hexo was only down about 10%. So the fact that Hexo wasn't down more than Tilray, and there was some rumors going around that Redecan has ties to the Hells Angels and whatnot. It's like, well, I highly doubt, Hexo probably did its due diligence. There was another LP that offered Redecan $1.4 billion, right? They were going to potentially take another offer, but they went with Hexo's $925 million. So obviously the other company that put up $1.4 billion likely did some private investigating and just due diligence into that. So and again, we didn't see it cover. If you go to Google, right, very simple thing to find out whether something is true or not. I just type in Hexo, and then I go to news, and then I do tools, and I sort by date. And if it's not on the first 3 pages of Google, it's probably not true. And if it is true, I need to see some evidence, right? I'm not gonna, rumor has it that they might have ties. Well, I don't care if they might have ties. We've seen this before with the Afria short report, right? Afria short report. Shell game with a business on the side, right? Remember this one? Remember that? And then here we are, no one even thinks about that anymore, right? And now it's branded as Tilray. And it's just, nothing surprises me anymore. Again, if I see BNN, an article on BNN or MarketWatch or Yahoo Finance or something about that, I might read it. In detail. I just read the article's name and then a few things in the details, and it's like, okay, well, the police are investigating Redecan for a potential tie. Maybe they just got a call from somebody, and they reported that they might have, or they could have just been like some thing online or some Twitter communication. Who knows? But all I know is I understand the risks of, remember that article that came out that if you own MJ stocks, you're not going to be able to go to the US and all that stuff. Like, did you really buy that? I've been traveling to the US and I've been investing in MJ stocks for over, 5 years now. So pretty sure that was just FUD. And again, if you need to understand the risks, right? There's going to be risks. There was the CanTrust whole ordeal and all that stuff. So there's definitely some cause for concern, but you just kind of need to look at it at face value and say, okay, well, I need to see some evidence here. We need to see some credible, sources that are taking, if the majority of people aren't talking about it, then it might not be true. And we need to also take into account that the share price at an all-time low, and we were just starting to reverse across the whole sector, not just in Hexo. And again, if you don't believe in Hexo, maybe it's not for you. I mean, there's lots of other names out there, right? But the high risk, high reward ones, right? That's what's gonna make the huge gains in the long run. I think Hexo is definitely being held back. I think it's being manipulated. That's my honest opinion. If you don't think that's true, then everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? We can have discussions about it. If you want to talk about why Hexo is going bankrupt or why this might be true or whatever, then yeah, raise some valid points, but don't go spreading FUD that they're going bankrupt or they're going to get their license revoked. We need to see actual evidence here, not just react on emotions. So again, I'm not fazed by that. Not at all. I think that it's just BS and FUD, and this isn't the first time it's happened. And like I said, everybody, we've got lots of, look at this. This is just the Canadian tickers here. There's tons of US names as well. So don't just, go all in on one company. You can own more than one MJ company. You can own more than one, side of the border. I think there's places for LPs in your portfolio, and I think there's places for MSOs in your portfolio, right? US and Canadian companies. I own a lot of MSOS, like the US MSOs, and I own a lot of LPs as well. But my most heavily weighted position is Hexo, full disclosure. And I've actually got more money invested in crypto than I do in Hexo. And my plan is when when crypto starts to top out here over the next couple of weeks and months, I'm going to be taking those profits, rotating those profits into the beaten down MJ sector, which I've been averaging into since February highs, right? I know we can't time the bottom, so just averaging in slowly. And I've got other investments in crypto that I'm going to be looking to take profit soon and invest those into the beaten down MJ sector, right? I'm also buying a condo at the moment. I sold some properties in the East Coast in Canada. The property shot up huge in value. I bought low, 7 years ago, and I sold high. And now I'm looking at a condo in Western Canada. The Alberta condo market right now in Edmonton is just absolutely insane. And you can get a condo there for, anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000, a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom right downtown. So I'm looking to buy low in that market, right? That's just my strategy. I buy and I hold. I buy low with these huge potential assets, right? Crypto and MJ, again, I don't trade it because there's just so much potential for gains and just so much stress, right? And crypto trades 24/7. So personally, I have my crypto, and I'll be looking to sell that into the beaten down MJ sector. I'm looking to take advantage of some beaten down real estate markets. So again, it's all about what works for you and your trading strategy. I see people online today, in some groups and stuff like that, just shunning some other people saying, haha, Hexo's down. I told you I rotated it into this crypto and now I'm up this much. It's like, okay, well, congratulations. But there's no need to make other people feel bad about their investment in Hexos because you don't know, right? Maybe they're just new, or they don't know how to day trade, or they don't know what crypto is, or they just don't want to miss the move, or maybe they're okay buying here and they're just holding until U.S. legalization, or same with any other company, CGC or Tilray or Trulieve, or maybe they don't want to sell because it's going to incur capital gains, because if they sell within less than a year, they're going to get charged with get hit with short-term capital gains. So there's just so many people out there on the internet that they want you to lose. I've just seen that so much lately. It's just like, we're on the same team here, folks. Like, we don't have to own the same stocks. We don't even have to be investing in MJ stocks together. You can be investing in crypto or tech, and we can be investing in crypto and MJ, right? There's no right or wrong. We're just seeing, I buy when there's no hype. I buy when it's the least thing that anybody wants to do, right? Nobody's talking about MJ. Nobody's talking about the condo market in Edmonton, but that's what intrigues me. Nobody was talking about the real estate market in Eastern Canada and in the East Coast of Canada 5 or 7 years ago. But look what happened over. My friend bought a house 2.5 years ago. It was worth 200,000 when he bought it. It's now worth 400 some thousand, right? So the more opportunity you take and the more investments you have in different areas and the more diversification you have, the more opportunities that are going to come your way. You don't have to time the bottom. You just need to recognize that this could be the bottom and that you're getting in near the bottom. Just ignore all the haters and the trolls. Like, to be honest, I'm not going to be on social media for a while. I'm going to be focusing on my private members and POW group. And, it's just a much better environment. And to be honest, I want to help the retail investor, and I try, but you just get some people out there that just ruin the fun, and it's been pretty active lately in the community. So I'm going to be focusing a lot more of my time on the community. So if you're wondering why I'm not posting in social media during the day, it's because of that. But like I said, kudos to you if you're still paying attention, because like I said, today wasn't easy, and a lot of people probably got shaken out, and yeah, it's not an easy game, right? If it were easy, everybody would be market millionaires, right? But the market makers, that's what they do. They come out with a move out of nowhere, right? 23% off the bottom. People are like, okay, yeah, just another pump and dump. Like I said, go back to my video from Friday. And then I said, watch, it's going to start daily consolidation. And people are like, oh yeah, just another pump and dump, dead cat bounce, right? And then we change the daily trend. And then they say, oh, okay, well, that's not what I was expecting. I'll wait for the next dip. And then they gap it up on Monday, and then they're like, oh, well, I could have bought back here at 28, and now it's 33. And then they keep running it into the open, right? Most people don't trade pre-market, so the open hits, and then they run it into the open, and then, people 20, 30 minutes in, they're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to buy. And then they start convincing themselves that, it's a good idea. But they told themselves just a couple of days ago they're going to wait for a dip. And then they FOMO in, right, on news of a bill, and then Monday, they even had a press conference with that senator, the Republican. I can't remember her name; it's escaping me at the moment there. But anyways, she had a press conference, I think at like 4 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. Eastern, like right before the market closed. So again, the timing of all that, they were just sucking retail in because we knew there was a press conference, and everybody's like, oh, what if they say something bullish? Right? And then they FOMO in, and then people are waiting for that news, and then it just tanks and then closes at the low of the day with a huge upper wick and a huge reversal candle. And then, as if that wasn't brutal enough by the market makers to punish retail, they say, okay, well, we're going to just bleed this for the next 3 days. We're going to lose the daily uptrend on them, and we're going to make them buy the top and sell the bottom, and then we close back above that support that I was mentioning earlier. And it's basically a non-event right now. We're basically still in a daily uptrend. If that wick wasn't there, we'd still be in a daily uptrend. So again, I'm just trying to help people. And I'm a fellow retail investor. I feel for you. I feel for those that have emotions and stuff like that, because I used to have them too. I mean, I'd be lying if I wasn't a little emotional today, right? I was a little emotional because people were emotional. So that's why I don't like talking to emotional people, because then you get emotional, right? But me just looking at the charts, I'm like, oh man, that's a brutal punishment of retail, right? Obviously, that's what happened. And like I said, that press conference was timed perfectly on Monday afternoon. But anyway, starting to ramble on here now, and we're getting past 30 minutes, which was my hard cutoff. I'll go through a couple questions or some answers, and if anybody wants to vent, by all means. Like I said, I'm going to save some technical analysis for another video. I have a hair appointment to run to after this, so I do got to jet out of here in about 15 minutes or so. But let me just see if there's anything else I can think of at the moment. I don't think so. I think we're good. So just looking through. Yeah, that's brutal. Barclays just increased their short position by 90% and then giving this stupid price target, and also played the gap ups, and MJ eventually gets filled. Yeah, and we found out that Morgan Stanley's been buying Hexo. They increased their position by 14x, right? And you better believe that they were all buying back here, right? I mean, like I said, if everybody and their dog is bearish and retail investors on MJ, and MSOS has a huge bounce off 25 psychological support, who's buying? Obviously, it's the retail or the financial institutions, right? The smart money and the market makers and the Wall Street bankers, right? And like I said, nothing happens in the world without Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, the Vanguards, the Black Rocks. And if you look up all of these companies, if you really dig into it, all of those companies that I just mentioned all have their hand in everything. They had their hands in Amazon. They had their hands in Tesla. They had their hands in Apple. They had their hands in all of these MJ companies. They have their hands in gold. Like, for example, case in point, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they've been manipulating the price of gold. They've even been found guilty and charged for decades. And they just get slapped with $1 billion fine. But yet they made $3 billion in profits or $5 billion in profits. Of course, they're going to pay the $1 billion fine and the slap of the wrist. They'll just get off and then keep the rest, right? Pocket the rest. So this is what the market is about. It's about catering to their rich friends on Wall Street. All these companies releasing these FUD articles and these bearish articles at 52-week lows. Why do you think they're releasing them now? Why weren't they releasing them back here at 52-week highs? It's because they're waiting. They want your cheap shares. It can't get any more obvious than that, right? But yeah, I definitely feel for people. I really, if you're one of those people that are, thinking maybe the market isn't for me or maybe MJ stocks aren't for me, I promise you it's going to happen wherever you go. Everybody thinks they're a genius until they get humbled, right? Just like crypto, everybody thinks that, they're up 100% or 200%, but I can assure you that those gains will disappear very quickly and they will get humbled very quickly. Hope US and Germany legalizing tear them apart. Well, we know it's inevitable, right? Like the writing's on the wall. We see, more movement through Congress in the US. We see Germany. We see multiple other countries, right? And I think it's just going to be a domino effect. It's called game theory. And once one goes, they all go, right? Canada was the domino effect. Canada tipped, and now all of the other countries are following suit. Mexico. And again, that's why I've said for all this time, I really don't think the U.S. is going to sit back and watch its NAFTA partners, the U.S. and Mexico, Canada and Mexico, have all the fun and gain all the market share and global domination, right? I think they're going to put this through a lot quicker. And that's why that bill came out of nowhere last week, right? In my opinion, I think there's going to be a lot more of those shenanigans and games being played with people. And it's just going to come when we least expect it. And they keep saying, Schumer reiterated again today that they're not going to let it be controlled by big alcohol, the big boys in quotations. That's exactly what it said. That's not me, choosing the word boys, but I like to say big wigs, but I call BS on that. I call BS. We know that those are the companies that are getting these people elected. All the world runs around a select few companies. And if we look at, and there's even an article here basically saying that the U.S. or the Canadian LPs are going to struggle, and that the benefit is from U.S. legalization is going to be the MSOs. But what they failed to mention is Cron is owned, a majority stake in is Altria. Tilray is in bed with Anheuser-Busch, so Budweiser, and a few other companies as well. And CGC has ties to Constellation Brands. All of those companies, we also know British American Tobacco with OGI, all of those companies are American companies, right? So it's a win-win for America, right? Because all of these companies that have these big stakes in the LPs, a lot of them are owned by big American companies, right? So it's a win-win regardless if MSOs win over LPs. All the LPs have majority stake owned in, big alcohol or big tobacco that are, from America. So it's a win-win for them either way. But I really call BS on that. I think they'll try an effort, and make it look like they tried to make the little men and women win. But I think it's just going to cater, just like it always is, right? They're just going to cater to their rich friends on Wall Street. The rich get richer. And they try to give us these words of empowerment and, make us feel like we have some control. And it's like, no, like the only control we have is selecting between one or two people or a few people come election time, right? And a lot of people say that, and I'm not going to get political, but a lot of people say that we don't even really have much say on who gets in there. And again, it's, if both are bad, both candidates are bad, what do we do? So it's just, again, I don't expect the government to pay my bills when things get tough. And I don't trust the government. And basically, when I see articles like this, I think of the opposite. And especially when we see things at all-time lows, and then they come out with this bill right at the lows, right? We also had that weekly descending triangle with a perfect target of 25. And the news comes out about that bill right at that $25 target, rate 25 psychological, right? It's so manipulated. It's almost sickening. And again, if you're going to be mad at MJ, I would encourage you to love MJ. MJ is great, right? The commodity is nothing but good things, right? It's up there in my books as one of the best things ever. What I dislike is the market makers, right? And I still got orders in for lower. I added to some other positions like Tilray today, and just taking, being aware that this is how the game is played. And MSOS, now we're just looking for a weekly trend change. Weekly high or low compared to 25.70, and then change the weekly trend. Any news on BAM financials? No, I didn't see any. Bought another 4K shares of Hexo today. Happy sale. Yeah, it's definitely a fire sale. Congrats on your purchase. That's a great price. Same thing with SKLZ. Oh, okay, yeah. Thought that was the word skills. It's a ticker. So Hexo is running 17% market cap in Canada, more than praised Tilray and Canopy. Yeah, and no one's talking about it. But and again, I've been saying for a while, I think the shift is going to come where we see Hexo outperform its peers. And today was just another example of that. We had downgrades here on Tilray and Cron, and then they even mentioned CGC, right? So I think they're unloading the CGCs and the Crons and the Tilrays, and they're loading up on Hexo. That's evident because as we saw, we went to NASDAQ, Hexo Financial Institutional Ownership. So this just came out the other day, and it was for September, the end of September. So change in percentage. So this is as of September 30th. So Morgan Stanley increases its ownership by 1404. So again, that lines up with that train of thought that we could be seeing big hedge funds and financial institutions like the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of the world. And who else would be able to move news like that? Who would be able to influence the Motley Fool and put out articles about the financial FUD and all that stuff, right? It's the people on Wall Street, and with deep pockets and friends of friends, and people they even own media out companies, right? Like it's just, if you really dig into it, all the big banks and all the big corporations that run the world run all the media. And whatever they want you to think, they're probably doing the opposite. It's called talking your book, and it's not illegal. So again, that's lining up well. Morgan Stanley, we also saw Goldman Sachs increase their position by 811% in Hexo. So you got RBC, CIBC. Let's get some big ones there. Let's just sort here by shares held. So you got Morgan Stanley, 5.3 million shares. Bank of America, 1.2 million shares. Goldman Sachs, 1 million shares. JP Morgan, right? So again, nothing happens in the world. No great company gets to be great without those companies, right? They always have their hand in something, right? Those companies run the world. They've been manipulating gold and silver, and like I said, we're starting to see that shift. I saw people worry, and like the Barclay report said stupid stuff like Hexo won't be in the USA for a little conference done with Hexo C-suites. Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. Amazing insight. Appreciate you. You're welcome, Adam. I'm glad you got some value from it. I appreciate the support, and keeps me pushing to come back on here. I appreciate it. And again, everybody, I really appreciate the quality of comments in the chat, and dealing with a lot of trolls and haters lately, and I don't know why. Like, I'm just trying to help people, and I was telling people on Friday, just don't get too bullish. We didn't change weekly trends, and then today it was like, we're right back down to where we were, and it's like, okay, like, I don't know why you get happy about that. Again, I'm just another fellow investor like you, right? I have other investments in crypto. I have other MJ investments. I don't care what Hexo could go to 0 tomorrow and I would be fine, right? I do not care. Like I've taken the risk. I've assessed the risks. I've done my research, and I have my my bags packed, and I know the risks. And there's going to be these FUD articles. Like I barely don't even look at mainstream media anymore, right? I barely even look for articles because I'll see it in the chart. And today was a very as soon as I didn't see it in the chart, as soon as I saw Tilray down more than Hexo today, I didn't even read that stupid article about the Hells Angels. I saw the title and that was enough, and the person who the publisher, and that it wasn't even on the first 3 pages of Google when I sorted by date, and I was like, okay, yeah, I have no interest in reading that. And a lot of people that did read it said it just looked like really poorly constructed, and yeah, I don't believe that for a second. I mean, again, could be wrong. But when we see a little bit more evidence and a little bit more reputable sources and more widespread attention around it, okay, maybe I'll look into it. But I'm not going to sit here and stress and lose my mind. They stated they are already and will have more products in the USA in January 2021. Yep, they said they were bringing Readies and gel caps to California through a special purpose vehicle, whereby none of the revenue or any of the profits will leave state lines. So it'll be done on a potential ownership of assets basis. So upon U.S. legalization, Hexo will then take on the majority ownership in those assets, right? So again, they're not actually selling Hexo labeled products. It's an agreement, right? Some kind of minority deal for right now, but then a bigger deal later on upon legalization. But they did say that they're working with multiple potential CPG partners. They said one is in edibles, and that we can expect to see pilot in Quebec over the next few months, which is right around now. And then they said a potential rollout into the rest of Canada and the US into January and February. So again, we'll have to wait and see. We're still on track. We'll have to see. There was some implied volatility as well for December 17th. Earnings is scheduled for December 20th, Q1 earnings. Again, we need to see official confirmation. We usually see that a week or two in advance from Hexo. So we should be seeing that in the next couple of weeks, and a confirmation of when the earnings is going to be. And then we have the big earnings, Q2 earnings, which will be fully consolidated Redecan in March. So yeah, and we could see multiple CPG partners as well. I also saw that there were some patents that came out. One was Easy Tiger and another one was Soothe. So it looked like they have some more topicals coming. And I think that Easy Tiger may be something like a Tiger Balm, like some muscle pain relief or something like that. I thought of the CPG partner, but then someone brought up a good point. They probably would have that under the new subsidiary, that new JV, right? Or that new partnership similar to Trust, and not under Hexo. And it's likely just another product in the Hexo umbrella, likely 48 North type of cream or something. So that's probably what that's about. Which includes Verywell CBD drinks, Redecan Readies, pre-rolls, Veryvel drops, and gel caps. So they are wrong AF. Yep. Yeah, they've already got Trust CBD. But again, that's not Hexo's products. That's Trust CBD USA through hemp. And it's all grown in the US, right? So it doesn't get it. It's all within the US. And what I think they need to do is come out with hemp CBD cigarettes. And then that way they could do that all over the States where they got the Readies technology and they could compete with the likes of TAT, right? So I think that's something we could see as well. In my opinion, retail versus hedgies, we should all be in it together. Yeah, it's like I said, the title of this video, market makers want your cheap shares, and they have no remorse for you today. A lot of people I see people online attacking each other and hating on MJ or hating on one particular MJ company. It's like, dude, the whole sector's down, US and Canadian, right? And Tilray was down more than Hexo on this, bogus FUD that came out, in my opinion. So, yeah, we all just, take a chill pill, We're investing in MJ. We're supposed to be the chill demographic, but no, I'm just joking. I understand it, right? And we just need to hold each other accountable, right? Don't let the emotions fly off the handle. How about we work together and we get on there and we message each other and we work together and say, let's try to figure out if this has any merit to it, right? Why just jump to conclusions? And I know people. It's like when you were burned as a kid and then, you learn not to do that again, right? So when you're burned once, it's just natural to put up that defense mechanism, right? And we'll get through it, right? It's not the end of the world. They did the same thing with, if you own U.S., if Canadians own marijuana stocks, it's legal there, yeah, but it's not legal here. So if you own marijuana stocks, you can't come to the US. That was the FUD that they had just to try to get your cheap shares again, right? And now they're trying to get your cheap shares for the 357th time, right, in MJ. And it's probably happened 357,000 times in the course of all financial markets, right? Maybe more. Really appreciate your videos, especially on the days like today. Not everyone can put stop losses and hold till the bottom due to FOMO. Yeah, absolutely, right? And you just need to have a plan. And, personally, the best strategy is just to buy low and sell high. And we're at 52-week lows. We're weekly oversold. Like, if you didn't know anything else other than how to use RSI and this being oversold and this being overbought, this is generally when you should sell. This is generally when you should buy. Well, if you sold back here in February when it was oversold or overbought rather, and then we had that, we started to come back down and we started to trend back down to oversold. So generally that means that a reversal is coming, right? So even if you just exited here when we were no longer overbought and okay, yeah, the parabolic moves over. If you just exited there, that would have saved yourself 45% of downside. And then if you would have just entered on weekly oversold, then, you would have been up 30%, 32%. But again, it doesn't always go right to oversold, right? You see we got close there, but we did have a lower wick. So we did wick down and touch it. But if you're looking at the close of the day, we actually didn't touch it. So, intraday, weekly oversold, but it didn't print it. And then a lot of people might have even been looking at that too, right? And they said, oh, we didn't get weekly oversold. But if you zoomed into what happened that day in that lower wick, then you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we definitely touched down on oversold, right, during the intraday, midday. So again, it's just buying low and selling high, especially if you're only new to the market. Like if you've only been investing for a couple of years or you've only been trading for, if you haven't been investing for at least 5 years, I would say day trading or trading in general is just not a good idea. Have a general sense of the market first, get good at investing, right? Don't stress yourself out right out of the gate because you're probably not going to make it. Learn an investing side, learn the swing trade side. It's a little bit easier than day trading, right? And then just learn to manage your emotions, learn cycles, brush up on your skills and whatnot. And just buy low, sell high. Like it's not that basically when none of your friends are talking about MJ, that's always been a very good gauge for me. None of my friends, I'm that demographic, right? I'm in that demographic. So when MJ stocks are hot, everybody's messaging me, right? And then when they're not, nobody's talking about it. So just like the other couple of months, when some people were messaging me about Doge, I was like, sell, right? And then the Saturday Night Live skit came on and I said, oh my God, if you guys don't sell leading up to that Saturday Night Live skit, I don't know what to tell you. And I bet you there was still a ton of people who thought that, oh, we're going up from here, right? But again, it's just the way the cycles work. Effing whales bidding options for Tilray to hit $9 and $12 through January 22. Yeah, well, like I said, it's a pretty messy game, and like I said, the market makers do not care. They will eat your lunch and your dessert and then some, and they'll shake you by your legs. They'll take every last cent you have, and they won't feel any remorse on it. And they time the press is timed. Love your Hexo product reviews. I hope to do more. Yeah, absolutely. I love doing them too. The best products on planet Earth. Like I said, we got tons of people from the US. If I look at my Hexo videos, like I would say almost 50% of my viewers are from the US and they can't even try the products, right? If I look at my Tilray videos and my CGC videos and my Cron videos and all the Canadian LPs, almost nobody in the US is looking at them. So what does that tell you, right? Again, this is just data and facts and trends and things that we can look at and understand that, okay, well, a shitty company, right, might not have that, right? And if everybody says that CGC is such a great company, well, how come we don't see so much interest in CGC and what? I mean, that's just one metric, right? But something that I take note of for sure. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of exciting product reviews in the future. I can't wait. Saw the price going down on Tilray today, and I started to worry a bit, but instead of panicking, I just decided to throw some extra money in. Yeah, well, and another thing too, Patty, is you can you can set buy targets, right? Like I've had an order in on Hexo now for $1.25, and it hasn't hit. Came close to it today. I've had it in there forever, since like back here at like when we lost $4 or $5, I think it was. But I just scale in. So I set different tranches and I buy some at different psychological and previous support levels if we look at price action. But right now we don't really have any support. We got 127, the all-time low. After that, 125 psychological. We've got $1 psychological. And then from there, it's just, just looking at what develops in the chart as time goes on. But like I said, I've got an order at 125 that's been sitting there for a while, hasn't filled yet. I got an order at $1. It's been sitting there for a while, hasn't filled yet. And if they hit, great. If they don't, I'm okay with that too, right? So just knowing that, okay, I'm not a wizard. I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody in planet Earth knows what's going to happen in any of these charts. This is just probabilities. We had this uptrend here as well on Hexo. So if you just exited when we lost that uptrend, well, that would have saved yourself. In this low here, that would have saved yourself about almost 20% of downside. So there's ways to reload cheaper and stuff like that. Personally, I got a lot going on with Power Group, and I don't want to incur capital gains and all that stuff. So I'm just going to buy and hold, right? I don't want to reload 10 cents or 20 cents cheaper and then end up missing a move of 500x, 500%, 5x, right? And then we shoot up to $10 or whatever, or any of these names, right? How could you not want to just establish some long-term core positions when MJ's at these lows, right? But again, it can always go lower. So if it does go lower from where you bought it at, that's just, you're human, right? That's going to happen to about 99% of people. Not everybody makes the NHL, but there's still an NHL. Only 1% of people make it, but there's still an NHL, right? Only 1% of people probably in the world can successfully day trade and time their entries perfectly. And even then they make mistakes, right? And they don't let their mistakes deter them. They just get back up again and they learn from it, and they might make another one again, and then they might not trade for a week, right? It's all about the flow state, what's going on in the household. Are you in did something happen in your family? Are you distraught? Are you not yourself? There's so many factors, right? And just starting out like that to me is just buying here and wait. Like even if you just bought now on even if you just pick a few different LPs and a few different MSOs, or if you just pick MSOS, the ETF, and you pick HMMJ, the ETF, and a few others, and just wait until US legalization, like you'd probably make anywhere from like 25x to 50x on some names, 2,500% or 5,000% on some names. But you'd also save yourself a ton of stress, and it's not that complicated. Weed isn't going anywhere. We know it's the next big industry, right? I think alcohol sales globally was $1.5 trillion last year, right? But we're like 70 years or whatever, or 80 years or something like that after prohibition. So yeah, there's going to be some time for cannabis to get there. But imagine if cannabis was doing $1 trillion. Imagine if cannabis was bringing in $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion being spent on cannabis across the globe, right? That's big money. All right, so wrapping up, coming in on an hour here. There should really be a serious consequence for libel. Like, how does analysts can get it so wrong and have a job the next day? Oh, liability? Yeah, you got to understand too, like the Motley Fool and BNN, they've got multiple analysts, right? And some of them have completely, Motley Fool might have an opinion, and then the analyst working for Motley Fool might have its own opinion. And then sometimes at the end of the article, you'll see in little fine print, the publisher of this article does not own any shares and does not, and the Motley Fool actually thinks the opposite, right? It's weird. It's just, and like I said, JP Morgan was telling its employees that if it invested in Bitcoin in 2018, they'd be fired. And then it was later proven that they were the ones buying the most of it. And also it was later proven not too long ago that JP Morgan actually invested in Ethereum before they even did the public offering and the pre-sale, the ICO. So what does that go to tell you? They were invested in crypto back in 2013 before Ethereum even began. And then they're telling people in 2018 that it's rat poison, it's not worth anything. And then if you buy it, you're fired, right? So it's just the world is so rigged, and not just crypto, not just tech stocks, not just, the tech boom, the dot-com bubble. It's reminiscent in every single asset class or asset, right? It's everywhere. Because why? Because Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the Vanguards, the Black Rocks, and the JP Morgan, this Morgan Stanleys of the world, they have their hands in everything. Only $500 think $9 will hit. Oh, only 500K think $9 will hit unless 239.5 shares bought up at the close, 1075 today. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that one. Hooked Tilray and High Tide both. Yeah, it might hit $9. It hasn't gotten below that though. It's hit 998. There's the lowest pullback since we've had in the 52-week low. So, actually, what's the... No, actually, if we go back here, so 52-week low looks like back in November, we were back at like $6 and $7 there. But we did lose the support here, but we are testing this support trend line here on Tilray. So I wasn't looking too much there into that in the close on Tilray, but I was looking at that support trend line. Like I said, just watching the brutal pullback today in MSOS and the manipulation that was going on with the bill, and then the timing of that Republican coming out and saying that they were doing a press conference on Monday, and then gap it up, run it into the end of the day to start the day, and then get people to FOMO in, and then also tell people that there's a press conference later on in the afternoon of that same Republican woman who's going to be introducing that bill to legalize and federally tax and legalize marijuana. And that was at 3 p.m., I think, Eastern time. And what do you know? It sold off right into, mid-morning into the end of the day, close right near the low of the day, and got people to FOMO in. And not only did they get them to FOMO in, they gave them something to look forward to. They said there's an interview there this afternoon. So don't sell your shares. There's an interview, and she might say something bullish. But then they played you, right? And it's just been an absolute brutal pullback. Schumer said he wants to keep the profits out of the big boys' hands, meaning the Philip Morris and Pharma and Hauser Busch. Yeah, I think he means big alcohol companies and tobacco companies. I've seen him say that before. So I think, he could mean all of the above, really. He just means that he wants to give like mom and pop shops, like the private companies and stuff like that, allow kind of similar to Alberta, how anybody can have a retail location, and just social equality and, some of those demographics that have been hurt by the war on drugs sort of thing. All right, so we're wrapping up here. We love your videos, very helpful. I wish I listened to your Death Cross video before the Death Cross. We appreciate it. I look forward to your videos. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, well, like I said, worst thing you can do is lose all your money. If you didn't lose all your money, well, you live to fight another day. And if you didn't sell, you didn't lose anything yet. So, we can learn from everything. We can take what lessons we can and try not to make the same mistake. Pow Group dude, you need to post your vids on weed and stock subreddits. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too concerned about. I really don't like Reddit, to be honest. I know I need to start using it, but I've just been. The community has been growing a lot faster than I ever expected it to, and I'm pretty comfortable with how fast it's been growing. Sometimes it's pretty hard to keep up with everything as it is. So, like I said, I'm currently in the process of buying a property, a new condo and stuff like that. So, should have some more time available for more videos and stuff like that here into the new year, and been doing a lot of traveling and things like that. I also have a trip to Florida planned here in January for 3 weeks. So, just, like I said, just taking some time off and enjoying that the restrictions are finally starting to take, take a back seat, and we're seeing some easing there. But yeah, I definitely need to do more promoting. I know that I haven't really done much promoting. I really don't promote anything really on any of the subreddits or any of the socials. I do a little bit when I post a video the odd time or whatever, but yeah, no, it's been great, the organic growth that I've been seeing. And I'm not, starting a YouTube channel because I want to be a YouTube sensation. I just want to help a few people. And, I enjoy helping people. And, as much as people say that it sounds cliche, right? But I'm genuinely honest. Like, I enjoy doing these videos. It's fun. I love all of, I've always been a pioneer. I consider myself a pioneer of MJ, and that's why my passion is with MJ, why it's such an MJ centric channel. My biggest things, what I specialize in is technology and cannabis stocks, right? So tech stocks, crypto and MJ. But MJ is my passion. And like I said, you'll never work a day in your life if you love everything that you do. And like I said, I don't consider this work. It's just fun for me. And, the amount of people that have said I've, helped them in some way, that makes it all worth it in my opinion. And like I said, the channel's been growing a lot faster than I ever thought it would. And I'm quite happy with the speed that it's growing. And once I really pour some fire on it, then yeah, I think we'll get a bit more, widespread views and whatnot. But like I said, my videos aren't always, by popular demand. Not too many people want to see MJ videos right now. They want to see like meme coin videos of Dogecoin. They want to buy things that are at all-time highs, right? And they want clickbait, and they want reassurance to tell them that it's just going to go to the moon, quote unquote, right? But that's not what I do. I cover things usually when they're in bear markets and when no one's talking about them and no one wants to buy them, because that's the maximum point of financial opportunity. I was talking about Bitcoin like crazy back here at 3,800, right? And then we got over 10,000, and I said, okay, monthly uptrends, weekly uptrends confirmed. We're going parabolic. And then by 50,000, I started scaling at a Bitcoin because the multiplier effect's not there, right? So scaling at a Bitcoin, focusing more on altcoins, right? And, even if Bitcoin were to go double from here, 57,000, right? Who cares? Even if it went to 114,000, that's still only double, right? So I think there's better opportunities with other assets like Litecoin, for example, XRP. And XRP is another example, right? XRP has been hated on and again, I don't mean to go too off topic here, but just it's similar because just think about how bad XRP investors, and I lived through this too. So look back here when this was after, I think, Bank of America partnership, and then the SEC sued them for XRP being for selling unregistered securities, like $1.2 billion. And then I was telling everybody to buy here on this drop to 17 cents. Everybody told me I was crazy. And then we shot up 11x, right? And just imagine if Tilray or Hexo or Trulieve were being sued by the SEC, and then the price dropped all the way from 78, it dropped 80% because of the SEC. And I think the SEC's dead wrong, personally. I think Ethereum's actually more of a security than XRP, and I think Ethereum's going to be the next targeted one. So just full disclosure, I still think we could see anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 on Ethereum here in the next couple of months for the end of this bull cycle. But I think there's going to be a day of reckoning with Ethereum. I think that they most definitely sold an unregistered security, and that's the irony in this whole thing, is that XRP and Ripple's the most transparent company in crypto, and they're so transparent, and they get knocked for it. And like I said, all those people who panic sold back here, right? It could always be worse, right? And I saw that. I was buying the dip. I've been accumulating XRP for about 4 years now, since 2017, and I bought that dip. And I bought that FUD, and everybody told me I was crazy. And I said, this Ripple and this, and then we shot up 11x, and then here we are back over $1, and I think we're going to see a huge move on XRP. This is just what they do. They mess with retail. Hexo videos for the win. More of those, please. Well, again, anybody who's watching, we still got 24 people on the live stream here. You should be looking at the chat. You should be listening to what I'm saying. The analytics on my videos being so heavily from the United States, and they don't even know what Hexo products taste like. They've never tried them. and they just can't wait, right? Like, how crazy is that? That I know the U.S. can't buy them yet, and there's still some legal affairs, right? Obviously, to sort out there. But when the time comes, if it comes, right? I think it's just a matter of when, not if. But again, I know the risks. I didn't invest any more than I'm willing to lose. I've diversified into other MJ stocks and crypto and other investments, real estate. I've got cash in the bank if things do go awry, right? So I do not care, right? If something goes lower than when I bought it, I do not care. And yeah, like I said, everybody in the comments just talking about hexo, and the interest is there. It's incredible. We can share it on there for you. Congratulations on the new place. Enjoy it. You deserve the hard work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, S. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say. Like I've been super grateful and humbled over the last year. So I appreciate it. To all the guys and gals out there, I know I say man a lot, and that again, that's just me looking at my channel analytics. I'm pretty sure the last 10 videos I uploaded were 100% male audience. So if I say the word man and you're a woman watching any of these videos, then I apologize. It's just what I'm used to. But yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you willing to share that, and I'll have to... yeah, like another thing you can do too is just follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Well, actually, I post on Facebook and Twitter every time I post a video. So if you want to just follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you'll most definitely get any new uploads, and subscribe to the channel as well, and you can just share it out that way. Your review of the MJ pre-rolls was hilarious. Not surprised at all, but demonstrates your credibility as a reviewer. Yeah, absolutely, right? Like when I first loaded it up, it kind of tasted pretty good, and then after a while, it was like, you know, the filter on the bottom was so rolled and tight, and barely any like room for air, that got all resin collected in there. It started to taste bad, and then yeah, the weed just didn't taste good after it did initially after the first couple puffs, and then it was like, okay, this is going downhill real quick, and then. Like I said, it didn't have airflow distribution. It was, you know, it was a mess all over my fingers, and it was just a bad experience. And for $65 USD, you can go online on Alberta Cannabis in Canada. You can buy 12 times 0.6 pre-rolls, so 7.2 grams of Hexos OSJs for $26. So those Justin Bieber ones were 3.5 grams for 65 US, so like $75 Canadian, $75 for 3.5 grams, and then you can go online on Alberta Cannabis and get 12 pre-rolls with 0.6 grams in them for $26. So it's just night and day. And I mean, no one's going to Planet 13 though no one's going to Planet 13 to save money. Everything's overpriced there. They got ounces that are worth $500, right? So. Twitter handle I think is Group Pal, but yeah, if you just go to like my YouTube channel here, and just click on what's going on here. You just click on Pal Group, then come over here to About, and then just scroll down. There's Twitter there and Facebook, and yeah, you can just bring that up. But Group Pal at Group Pal on Twitter. Someone took it. How dare they? All right, so I think we're going to pretty much wrap it up there. But yeah, the pre-rolls were pretty brutal. And all the beverages I had in the States, like they got a long way to go in the States, man. Like the quality of the beverages and the products in Canada versus the US right now is just insane. But I look forward to getting down to the States and doing a little bit more. But you know, some of the cans and stuff like that, like I bought the Ha drinks at Planet 13, and like I kid you not, I did not shake the can. Okay, like it was. I thought for sure that it was me the first time, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this a little bit, and then I went on another can. I think I had the Keef cans too. I think they had the same top. But anyway, it's like a child safety. But every time I would open the can, it would spew up and hit me in the face, and it's just like, man, you can't. How can you not make a proper can with a child safety on it? Like it just blew my mind. But you're welcome. Probably made you want a Ready. Yeah, it was like, if you guys haven't tried the Readies, well, they have the new 70 pack now, so the King pack. And it's funny too, if you go back to my videos in Pow Group, I was putting the King crown on Hexo a lot of the time. And that was before they even acquired Redican, and then Redican started using that as well. They put the little crown on the side, and then now they got that on the King pack. I thought that was pretty funny. I wonder if they got that idea from Pow Group. But yeah, those Readies are phenomenal. They're coming out. They have lilac diesel now. They've got a bunch more strains coming. Hexo just released some new strains. Really, really good, nice looking product that they're coming out with some new flower. They're stepping up their flower game with the recent acquisition of Cannabis in the Atholville facility in New Brunswick. So that's an indoor grow, right? So they're going to be able to pump out all these different new. We know they have their genetics program, so they're going to be able to go through. We know that they're on the verge of getting about 100 strains available underneath the whole Hexo umbrella, right? So these Readies, and like I said, I really want to see a CBD hemp Ready that they can just pump out right away, right? They already got the technology for the Readies, so it'd be very easy for them to just use hemp in the United States, and then they can do that all across the U.S., right? And it's legal, and they can do that through some sort of partnership or whatever if they want. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It'd be cool if they teamed up with like a tobacco company or something like that, and just pump that out and just destroy Tat's business. Tat's good and all, but like I said, Hexo's got that available, that technology available. I think that's something that we could see in the pipeline later on. All right, so gonna end it. Just looking to see here. Oh, that looks like we have everything. So like I said, everybody, I think we could see a potential green day in the market tomorrow. And like I said, potential for more strength in the U.S. names. We did see a pretty big, pretty strong close there for MSOS and some of our U.S. MSOs, and a little bit lackluster there on the Canadian side. But again, like I said, a lot of that had to do with the downgrade there in Tilray and Cron. But another thing to look at too is the U.S. names were down, double digits as well, and we didn't have any real news, right, to cause that to happen. So I think this is just manipulation, and they were, like I said, the blow off top was Monday, and they get people to FOMO in, buy the top, and then 3 days of pain, they sell the bottom again, right? And then just rinse, repeat, and then they resume back higher the next day, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a green day tomorrow, and then, like I said, maybe even another one the day after that. But it's looking good for USMJ. Going to look forward to tomorrow. Thanks again, everybody. You're welcome, Leisha. And on your way out, if you could, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, tick the bell, you'll be notified any future updates. Share the video with anybody that you think might find value in it. And don't beat yourself up. It was a pretty rough day out there today. And like I said, as long as you're not trying to time in the market will beat you timing the market. I can promise you that. This isn't financial advice, as always. It's for entertainment purposes only. But you don't have to time the bottom, and you most likely never will. You just need to be buying near the bottom. Blocking out the haters. Insert meme here. Yeah. I just when I see any kind of emotional response or any kind of haters or trolls going on, I'm at that point in my life where I just don't got time for it. They could tell me 2 + 3 = 4, and I'd be like, sure, you're absolutely right. You can have it, bro. You can have it if you want. Like, you go girl, you go guy, like whatever. I really don't care. I'm just telling you my honest opinion. You're entitled to yours. If you want to have a thoughtful conversation and have some thoughtful discourse, and you don't have to agree with me and I don't have to agree with you, we can still be friends. We can try and talk through it, convince each other otherwise. We can try to persuade each other either way. But we're all in this together. So gonna end it there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth, everybody, for an MJ Sector review, and we'll see you on the next video.